have some. You crying?
Uh, no, man. Seriously, it sounds really, really funny. Like, you are listening to the Joe Mars Podcast, a podcast inspired by musical creatives from and within Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world who are making an impact and pursuing their passions. My name is Joseph Maramba, and I'm a radio host best known for shows on Capital FM, Power FM, and Sport FM radio. And I'm sitting down with creatives to learn more on their story and how they are making an impact with every single production. Welcome, Ammara Brown.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome, man. I'm loving your new song, eh? I'm loving your new song.
Thank
It is
you.
like the consistent Ammara. Nothing has changed. But well, maybe a different sound and a better version of yourself. But it's the Ammara Brown that we have come to know, who stands up for women as usual, and for love and for good relationships. You know?
Mhm, mhm, absolutely. It's a beautiful baby. And it's so weird in the sense that I felt like I had already said everything I needed to say concerning gender-based violence with the song Tichichema. And me and myself, Winky D, Rocky, Holy Ten, and Sekalas were all approached by PSI, and they very much had, a job to do, which was address gender-based violence within this period because COVID. I don't know about you, but I feel like during COVID, I've seen the best and the worst in people. Do you know what I mean? And within that process, it's like the levels of violence people are experiencing are different. It's not just physical violence, it's the mental, the emotional abuse. And I had a little bit more to say on that. I
Yeah.
had a little bit more experience with that. And so it came at a perfect time, actually, because I had some love to share about just painting a different picture about how things can be worked through, because I think sometimes we're often used to the most dramatic narratives, you know what I mean, in terms of how these things are handled, which is just leave. And there's so much more to it, because on the one side there's the woman that leaves, but on the other side there's the man that doesn't know any better or doesn't do any better, and he needs therapy himself. He needs to go and fix himself. And it's very difficult, I think, in certain situations where you have two partners who genuinely love each other on the female side, because we're a lot more emotionally intellectual, you know. Um,
Yeah.
we want to be compassionate and be understanding, but it's very difficult to be compassionate and understanding to somebody who's abusing you. So, more importantly, they also need male voices, because men need to be able to speak to men about it. I think, just naturally, it's like how a woman will react to me speaking about things in a different way as to when she hears a man. When I look at my playlists are predominantly women. That's the majority of who I'm listening to. I'm listening to women because it's what I can relate to. So it's not for nothing, but at the same time, it's just encouraging the concept of people healing because we love each other. Do you know what I'm saying? Love shouldn't hurt. And just being clear on the fact that it is such a perplexing thing for a woman to experience when she is abused by the person she loves, because you're my protector. You're the person that I entrust to protect me from harm in this life. You know what I mean? And
I do.
just being able to own that and speak that, I think was just really powerful and transformative, surprisingly, even for me. And it
Yeah.
became more than a project that we were doing. I'm madly in love with it, and I'm really proud of how it's come out. And I actually today had a bunch of meetings. We're planning to shoot the music video
Yeah.
next week, basically. So, woo! It's gonna be a good time, you
It's
know?
gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I love the fact that on that song, love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't hurt. Aquela. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, yo, she mixed it up. But at the same time, a question just hit my mind. Like, Chichi Chema was so deep. Like, I think if there's ever a song that you're ever going to make which is deep, I
Oh,
don't think you probably leave. I don't think you, not that I'm underestimating you, but I think Chichi Chema, yo,
you
man,
go ahead. You go ahead and do that
yo,
'cause that's what people do. They say,
yo.
"Oh, but I'm not sure if she can write another one." You
No,
know,
no,
I
get me
remember,
right.
but
Get me
yeah, no,
right.
they started. They would be
Yeah.
like, "Ah, she can't make a hit song. She's just Andy's daughter." Then I made a hit
Mm.
song. They were like, "Ah, she just got lucky. It's a good collaboration with Guy." And then I did it again, and they were like, "Ah,
Ah.
just good at collaborations. She's just good at collaborations." Then I did it again. They said, "See, Bachura, another collaboration. See, Mukoko, see
Mm,
what you want." And then I came out with Achilles, and they were like,
mm, okay. Now, what I mean is the amount of emotion on Chichichema. Like, I'm telling you, let me be honest. That's
"I
what
hear
I'm
you."
saying. Emotion can never be the same. You can write another hit song, probably the same as Achilles, probably the same as whatever. But emotion on each and every song, the
It's
levels
just
are always going to be different. So I felt
absolutely.
like you got to a very, very deep, like I watched you perform that song on your video, and I felt like I realized that it was more than just a song. It was something that you really wanted to do and something that you really wanted to say. Because I could just feel like this was all you on that video.
Mm,
And I felt that. So
that's
when
beautiful.
yeah, just before you cut me out and put me in that bracket of people that are gonna always be I didn't mean you won't write another emotional song like that, but I just felt like Chichi Chema, you went to the bottom of all of your emotions. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Yeah.
mm. I'm pro love. I believe in
Mm,
love. I it's very easy, I think, in this day and age to stop believing in love. It's very easy in this day and age to believe that there's no point in believing in humanity. And what my protector says to me is, "I'm a human being, I'm vulnerable, I trust you, and I want us to move forward together." That is also a different resolution, and I think a conversation that is probably had in many, many homes. People just are not bold enough to come out with it necessarily, or don't know how to articulate it in that way, because we have to move forward together as a
yeah.
society, period. And we have to preach love as often as possible in an environment that doesn't nurture love.
Yeah.
We have not designed this world in a way where it's good for your soul. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Like that becomes my job. That becomes your religious leader's job. That becomes maybe your children's job, or your job, or your pet in the house. Um, just the small reminders about love and happiness and purity and your spirit. And if I get the opportunity to do that a different way, oh, honey, it's still lemonade. You could go right ahead and drink it. Maybe it's oranges that you want to take. That's cool. But I'm going to serve it to you. And you can always trust in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. You've grown. You've grown, Amara, like from the very first time I think we saw you on that advert as a small little girl with Oliver Mtukudzi, right? um, a acad then there was A Academy, then there was you with the Storm, those standing ovations with Oliver Mtukudzi when performed his song, the late Oliver. Um,
Yeah.
and to all the music that you have made so far. I mean, we have watched you grown. If there is a baby we've been taking care of in Zimbabwe, it's gotta be you. We have watched you from a very I remember, like, I didn't even know it was you when that Oliver thingy was on TV, right?
Mhm.
all I can remember is that I loved Oliver Mtukudzi, and I always said to myself, I've got to have one of those Olivian guitars. I have to have one of those
Oh
things,
my
man.
God,
Those are so
no.
cool.
It was
Huh?
so cute looking, right?
That
And I was
was
like,
so cute, man.
so cool. And I was just like, okay, but Daddy has a guitar, so I guess I'll just ask him
Yeah,
about, because that's what they used to do back in the day. They actually used to make them on their
they
own.
did. But it was a
Yeah.
lie though, because Oliver Mtukudzi was not playing. That's not the guitar that's not the sound that was coming through on
That's
that
good.
advert. That
That's a good ad. Okay, that's good
I
branding.
know, man.
Shout out to the advertising team. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's business. Olivine, Oliver. What? Come
Mm.
on, guys. Come on. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
don't get me wrong. That advert was the best advert ever. But I'm just saying the sound that came out, like the guitar that
Did
was being played there, is not the guitar that was on the screen.
you try to make one? Is that what you're saying? You tried it and it didn't sound
I know
like
guitars. I play acoustic guitar, so I know that is not how it's. Yeah. Anyway,
absolutely. I'm just saying, as a child, you maybe had that thought. You were just like, I'm gonna make one and then see if I can ding ding. Dee-dee-dee-doo. It's not happening.
okay. You were really tight with Oliver Mtukudzi, right?
Later in life, later
Yeah.
in life, he just became, I want to say, like an honorary light,
Mhm.
an honorary light. Uh, it marvels me when I think back on it because I didn't ask. Um, he just was. He just
Mhm.
was. And because we were both Virgos as well, oh, he had this like, I nearly posted it the other day and I was like, control yourself, Ammara. It's okay. I feel like, um, but yeah,
Why? Why? What was the fear? What was the fear though?
um, I just feel like people are experiencing so much loss at this time that I
Okay.
felt like it would, because I was putting a post up about Virgos. And so Gemma is a Virgo, Gemma Griffiths. Puma Ko, Sekuru Amako is
Mm,
also a
I saw
Virgo.
that one. Yeah.
And the other person I wanted to put in there was Uncle Oliver, but I was just like, it might take away actually from the beauty of this post, and I don't want it to seem insensitive or disrespectful. Because when I think of Uncle Tuku, I have such a vast array of memories, and I have so many thoughts about it. But at the same time, I also have that feeling of loss, and I
Mhm.
think that the grieving part, which is why this COVID period has been very transformative, is facing your grief. Because in ways before I wasn't able to face the grief, I would just like throw myself into work and be like, never mind, let's just keep pushing. And now every day on social media, you gotta say somewhere, rest in peace.
Mm, mm,
And that's just me being sensitive to people's minds. Like I'm conscious of what I feed people. It's not to say I don't have my own whatever may be going on in my life. I'm just like, why do you need to share every piece of hardship and difficulty and play by play and joy, like even the parts that are joyful, how can they be, how can they mean as much to your family members if you don't just keep that for your family members? That's ours. Do you know what I'm saying? And certain things
mm,
I'm sharing this with you because it's so big and so beautiful. This I'm comfortable sharing, and I'm happy to share this because we need to celebrate life. And so that's why I was able to share my son's 10th birthday, for instance. But I don't share every single moment, every single joke, there's so much that happens in my life that I don't share on social media because I just feel like the worlds need to be just separated a bit. Some things you can just be present. You don't need to record everything in your phone or record it and keep it for you guys. Where's your family album gonna be? is are you going to be talking about your family pictures while another fan can also say, yeah, I remember, I've seen that picture already? Like,
yeah.
where's the value? Sometimes the value is in the exclusivity. And so and other times it's with sharing. And in this
May-
moment, I
may-
was just,
Maybe maybe it
I
was
miss
okay. Go ahead.
Uncle Tuku, but I am also so blessed that I've not had to bury anyone of my own in this period of time.
Mhm.
What I do want to celebrate absolutely is life. And so Gemma is here, Puma Cole is here, and they're my Virgos, and I love them. And I'm gonna do this post. Boom, done. And that's enough for me. My conversations with Uncle Tuku are just, they're gonna be my conversations. That'll be me and him. And when I feel like it's an appropriate time to share that with people, I will do that. You
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have seen you grow.
Mm.
Seen you grow. We love. I think the majority of Zimbabweans out there, there's got to be one or two crazy people that probably don't love you, but there are one or two. Uh, the entire country loves and adores the name Amara and the family called the Browns. Okay, but they've been growing pains, right? Ever since you started and you were in this music industry, there've been highs and lows, and I know
Mm.
you might not be in this zone where you want to talk about the lows, but what's your biggest low so far? Like, I mean, you started at the tender age of what, 13? Was it 13? What was it? When you started singing, like professionally?
Oh, professionally. Oh, yeah, I was around about 13, 12,
Mm,
13, 12.
mhm.
Right
And
around
now
there.
you are 30, 30,
I
what?
turned 33.
33. You know?
No,
So
yeah,
that's a
20 years.
good two decades,
Yeah,
20 years,
yeah.
you know? Just name for me as we move on, as we celebrate your life, one high and one low in your
Oh, should they
in
be
your in
personal?
your music
Career?
thing.
My career? Ooh.
Um, I don't know. You choose. You want it personal? You want it only professional? It's up to you, girl.
All that, because it's such a large question, you know. The greatest highs and the greatest lows are different in, you know.
Oh, okay. So let's do with your professional career. Let's just do with your
Okay.
music career. Okay.
Greatest low, the greatest high.
Was it the sex tape allegation? No.
I, well, it's in relation to that. So, yeah, because it's part and parcel. It was almost the feeling of just feeling so devalued, disrespected, unappreciated. Um, you know, there are so many ways in which that happened. Um, but in reality, it's like I can't pinpoint one particular moment, but I can pinpoint the feeling, which made me, it got me, not made me, but I suppose the effects that it had on me was that I didn't know how to feel proud anymore about everything I had achieved in this industry, because it just felt like y'all will just do and say anything and quote my name all over it. And what is the thanks that I get? You know? So, in one regard, it was almost like every artist aims to do a number of things, and yet you can achieve the paychecks that you want, but it's the essence of how people appreciate you that can change how you give back. And I think there was such a low point, perhaps even just a year ago, was following this like horrible Twitter spat. You know, I'd been lied about and all this crazy thing, and I felt so unloved, and I didn't want to give anymore. I was like, I have given my life to this place. They don't deserve me. They don't deserve me, actually. And then it made me wonder, okay, so wait, what is your purpose? And I think the overwhelming feeling that I remember from all of those particular moments was just like a hopelessness, hopelessness, feeling hopeless.
the career laws. Never did they ever make you feel like this is it. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I have this thing whenever I say certain phrases, I attach them to a song. Like I just did the Craig David thing right there. So I do apologize. But did you ever at that moment feel like this is it? Or maybe you could have been strengthened? And what strengthened you? Like what is that thing that made you realize, you know what? Fuck
It took
this.
me it took me quite some time, and I'm not going to say that that journey is over, but I will say that I got to a place. I'm going to thank my age for this, actually, because I think my 20s, I struggled a lot more with depression and transitioning through this thing that they call fame. It's like they can't decide whether you're a celebrity or not. Like, a celebrity means someone who's celebrated. If you all spend more time talking crap,
Mhm.
then I don't know what y'all think this is, but um, but I'd have to thank my age for this, because I got to a stage in my life where I looked left, I looked right, and I was like, what makes me happy when I wake up in the morning? And my career used to be, it would be like my son and my career. They just used to be like this orb in front of, and then one would take over the other. But my career was just this orb that's been there for so long and it's so big. And then just being like, I don't like you.
Mm.
And taking accountability. I'm just like, is it the whole thing that I don't like? Or is it the how? Well, what don't I like? Oh, well, I don't like being affiliated with that just because I'm a sexy human being. Okay, cool. What else is it? Oh, well, that I don't appreciate, the sexism from that. Okay. So now I took accountability, I drew back, and I was just like, okay, Amara, what did you do in order to create certain perceptions? For instance, you knew that Zimbabweans didn't know the difference between sexy and slutty. You knew they didn't know the difference. So, and I was like, ugh, yeah. And I'm just like, mm-hmm. And you knew they didn't have a sex symbol and they needed one because Zimbabwean people can be very pretentious. You know how they be. So I'm
Mm.
like, yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Okay, cool. All right, cool. What else is it? What are you dealing with in terms of the sexism? Are you afraid of X, Y, and Z? What are your fears concerning that? And I just attacked like one thing at a time. And I was like, I can handle this,
I got
actually.
this. I got
And
this.
I'm not afraid. I think there's a certain level of fear that you shed in your 30s. I think that's the beauty, to be very honest with you. I feel more fearless in my 30s. And I'm not afraid to fail anymore, because the hard part about doing what we do, on a normal day, most people are like, oh, well, we all have our own challenges. Yes, yes, absolutely, you do. But you don't have to do it while the whole world watches.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you.
Mm.
But as for some of us, God decided that actually, no, this one here, whether you like her or not, she's gonna be the one at the forefront, and y'all can take it or leave it. Cool. And that's the thing. God keeps blessing me. So I had to like differentiate. Kuti, what are the blessings here? What are the things that I manifested within these blessings and the beauties? What are the curses that are coming with them? And what am I gonna do about it? And
Yeah.
I decided to just stop being afraid and just aim for the things that give me joy. And I've worked at it bit by bit, day in, day out, time and time again. And I'm being present with myself, and I'm being vulnerable with myself, and I'm being honest with myself. And I'm just letting my heart, my spirit, lead me in a much more profound and powerful way, because I don't have to worry about the paychecks no more. The paychecks will come. They keep coming. In fact, one hit me today. Boom! I wasn't even expecting. Watch. Oh, I forgot about the other one. Oh, and I was like,
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes. But I mean,
Yeah.
like it will
So you think
happen.
you think your thirties are doing well for you. You're just 2 years in your 30s and you're having a blast about it. Having a
So good.
great time about it. I have to ask you though. I have to ask you though. All of these sexual allegations, like this sex tape allegation, did you ever think like maybe I really needed to have done one so that people can really talk about, you know, one? Because
I
if they're just allegations and they're not there. You're like, don't these
I've
people have something to talk
I've
about?
I've done some ratchetry. I won't lie. I've done some
Mhm.
ratchetry off of the basis of, well, they don't think I'm any better, so whatever. But there is a line. And for me, the sex tape was just like, what? Why would I do that? In my own life, I knew when I was a teenager that I would never shoot a sex tape. I knew it. And I
Mhm.
remember because I remember watching Kim Kardashian go through hell and I was like, I know I'm gonna be somebody. So I'm never trying to go through that. So as much as I can do an array of things for the person in my life, I will love you, but I ain't shooting no goddamn sex tape. You can just I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Find somebody else to shoot it with. I'll
You can
bear with
just cancel that out of your, things to see from Amara, or things to look
no,
forward to
no.
from Amara.
On top of it, it's just like there was so much more to it than that. Zimbabweans as a whole, African people as a whole, we look at arts and the music industry like it's like I don't know, like it's nothing. Like the musicians,
Yeah.
and then what would I have done for the movement? Because when I'm in front of a camera, I need the camera to respect me. You get what I'm saying? When I get on that camera, I need the camera to respect me. I come to tell a story, I come to sing a song. I don't need you to be, you know, looking at me like there are porn stars in the world. There are people who do that for a living. I am an award winning actress. Now, porn stars are actors also. They act like they're having fantastic sex. That's their job. They are good at it. That's not a part of
Wait, are you saying that they're not enjoying it?
their actors.
Okay, I knew that. I just wanted you to confirm.
They're actors. I'm like, because here's the thing: when women watch porn, sometimes they'll be like, "This is why it's a
That
terrible idea for young boys to actually watch this and think like, oh, this is how you do it," because we all know the best sex doesn't happen like that. So it's just like they can only learn that with experience. So now you want me to join that bandwagon because why? Like, what am
Mm,
I going to contribute to that? The only person who needs to know that I'm fantastic is the bed in the bedroom is the person that I'm in the bedroom with,
yeah.
and that's it. And that's
And you
it.
build and you build your own fantastic. Yeah, you build your own fantastic.
That's
Uh
and I'm a mom. Oh my god, and I'm a mom. On top
yeah.
of that, there's even a layer. I'm like, my son. Listen, listen. My son done see me. He saw the "What You Want" video. He said, "I want a pet snake." He saw "Glow in the Dark." He was like, "That's my favorite video in the world." I mean, like he's seen all of my work. There's nothing that my son hasn't seen of mine. So I'm still very comfortable showing. Um, I wear my short shorts. My son knows me. He, you know what I'm saying? He knows who I am. But I have created a beautiful balance within how we are as a family unit. So he doesn't readily identify showing skin with somebody being a piece of meat. He knows that he still has to respect that person. Do you get what I'm saying? Once upon a time, our ancestors were wearing next to nothing, and their breasts were out, literally. And that woman was respected. She was honored. She was. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there was culture. There was real culture. And then somebody comes out here talking about, oh, you need to believe in this God, and you guys are uncivilized. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean I'm uncivilized? My civilization is different to your civilization. You understand what I'm saying? So I've had to fight back with that narrative. and be like, understand, just because that woman's breasts are completely out, she is still a respected woman in her society, in her village. She's still a mother, she's still a wife, she's still, do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just like, people need to see beyond the flesh. And if we don't condition ourselves to relearn that, and I'm not going to say learn that, I'm going to say relearn that, because we did that once upon a time, then we're at a loss.
All right. We're done with the laws in your careers, because I don't want you to go on another monologue of I really don't want, because listen, this podcast, it's all about the creative, the music, the creations, etc., etc. But you know what? Obviously, there are other things that affect the creative process, and these are some of those things. You know, I know you've been attached to this boyfriend and this guy, and given, you know, a whole lot of people in your career that you have been dating, allegedly. um I don't know, some you have dated, you've come out and you said, "Yo,
Yeah.
I'm dating this guy," you know, and stuff like that. But I really want to respect the creative process. I want to respect the creations, and that hence, you know, hence the podcast. But I read somewhere that you were molested in public. Your security couldn't help you, like you had 10 bodyguards or something like that. And you actually tweeted or wrote something along those lines to say, you know, 10 cannot um, control 1,000. Where did they touch you? What happened? Do you know? Because
Oh.
I feel okay. So okay, that's just sent shivers down your spine. I saw that.
I
Um,
I just remembered, and it hit me like, oh, ah. You know what? One particular day was the most, because I have gone through a lot in this industry, and there was one particular day where I used a certain entrance that you would usually use for this arena. Okay,
mhm.
it's typically the VIP entrance, the backstage entrance for the artist, and blah 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 blah. But they set the show up a little bit differently. So when I got there, I didn't realize my manager didn't explain that they had changed the whatever whatever. And so I go in there just thinking, the security guy sees me and says, Ammara, come inside. He's not going to stop me. And I go inside, and I see like this, it's a VIP section, usually where there's like the backstage section. So I'm like, okay. And I see the show is across the field. Actually, it's across the field. And I'm like, yo, that's where the stage is. How am I going to get there? And I'm thinking there's some other kind of entry. And the security guard is so happy. He's just like, let me help you with your mbira. Here, no, let me hold it. I'll take you to the stage. And so I follow this person thinking that there's a route by the fence, as on the side. Shem, Shem.
Where was this? It kind of feels like you're describing Haifa. Where was this?
It was Glamis Arena. I don't want to say the name of
Glamis.
the event, because
Okay.
it was a sponsored event.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Okay.
corporate thing. I don't want them to be associated with
No, it's
that.
fine. It's fine.
But essentially, it's just that the circumstances were just not in anyone's favor,
Mm,
and it
mm.
just became horrific. So, he's walking through thinking I don't know why he thought he could miraculously get me through this crowd without being noticed, or I don't know what he was thinking. But now I was looking around like, are there no other security detail? This guy is really gonna, oh God. And before you knew it, one person says, Ammara. And it was just
Oh, all hell
havoc.
broke
It
loose.
havoc. And now, when I look back on that performance on stage, it says Ammara performs Achilles at Glamis, and I was so broken on that stage. Like, I was just like, this is a terrible performance. Like, because they touched me everywhere. I thought my clothes were gonna be ripped apart. And I saw like other men just come to like help out, and then there was security, actual bodyguards on the other side, like of the barricade, just now jumping over to come, and like these monyas came out trying to like protect, and it was just the swarm of men just pulling at me, screaming at me, grabbing me. I was so afraid. I just wanted to cry, but it was just all happening so quickly because we were still actually, they were trying to like move
Walking.
me
Yeah.
forward and get me out of there. And at some point, I remember just seeing this bodyguard, pow, he just smacked this guy, and the person went like a meter, like, and I was just like, oh God, this is wild. Like, what is happening? And then they lifted me over the barricade, and I just broke down and cried. It was the worst experience, and I had to get on that stage and act like everything is okay. Eh,
Man, it was bad,
not
eh?
not
It
great.
was really
No,
bad.
it's not the only time. That's the worst of what I've experienced, but it's not the only time that I've been molested. And the reality of the matter is that when people think molestation, they immediately associate it with rape. But if
Mm.
somebody touches you in an inappropriate way, for you girls at home, you young girls at home that don't know, for you men that don't know, if you touch somebody in the wrong place at the wrong time, I'm taking pictures with you. How dare you touch me there? How
Mm.
dare you on a normal day? And then there's that misconception that female artists or artists in general are just cool with anything. You'd be surprised how many men are even just like embarrassed at how women treat them as artists. You'd be surprised. They just don't have the courage to come out and be like, I'm a person, man. Like, I've got a wife, like, right here. You
Mm.
know? My son the other day, me and him had that conversation. It was just really like wild because he was just like, I don't know if I want to be famous or not.
Well, does he have a choice? Like,
He does.
does he
He
have a
does.
choice? His
Yeah,
last name is his last name Brown?
he's got a double barrel name. His
So
surname is Brown Dafasha.
I am terribly sorry to that young man. He is still going to grow under the shadow, the same way you grew under the shadow of Andy
Well,
Brown.
I made
Man, there was
choices. You don't know all the Brown kids, for instance. I made
well,
choices. And so
ex-
essentially, part and parcel, if you saw my older sister, for instance, you wouldn't know that it was her.
okay, wow, you've got a point, but
You know
still,
what I mean?
yeah, we still can Google the entire Andy Brown family, and we'll still know who the kids, right? We'll still know Andy Brown's life because it's there, and we will know who Andy Brown's kids are, and
Mm,
we might
mm.
not be interested in the other kids, but we can still get it. You can't Google and find me on Wikipedia, or something like that. You
Sure.
know,
I did
yeah.
say to him, I said, listen, sweetheart, story of my life is what I said to him. Story of my life. And I said,
Mm,
but you do have choices. So I asked him, why do you want to be famous? And he said, because I want to travel the world and do amazing things. I said, that's lovely.
mm,
Why don't you want to be famous? And he said, well, because one day we came to a concert. We were at a concert of yours, mommy, and your fans pushed me aside, me and and I was just like,
mm,
my baby. I used to wonder sometimes why my dad would be so mean to certain people. My dad had no shits given,
mm,
zero. But it's because people are so rude. They can be so rude and entitled. And that's the worst part. It's like they feel
mm,
entitled to speak to you any kind of way, entitled to your time. It's just like, no, 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 no. I got paid for the concert that you saw. That's why you got to see me. It's a
yeah,
service. I am in service. When you listen to
yeah,
my music, I'm getting paid. Like I am a service provider also. It's just different because you connect with people in a different way. So some
mm,
people are the polar opposite, actually. A lot
mm,
of people are the polar opposite in a way where they're completely nice, but the how things are done sometimes can just get so lost in translation. And I think every child at some point, I mean, Camille right now, people will know Camille. They stop him in Santon City, they know his face. But as he matures, I want him to be very clear that he can create whatever boundaries he wants. Um, and he can live anywhere in the world that he wants. He doesn't have to be in Zimbabwe. He doesn't have to be on the continent. In fact, if he wants to go somewhere where no one knows our name, that's fine, my baby. Do what makes you happy, because that's what mommy did.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was going to be in this life, but I knew I wanted to do this. I didn't
Mm,
anticipate all the things fame would come with, but would I change it? No.
mm.
No, I wouldn't.
It seems like maybe the Zimbabwean community or the larger consumers of music, and I'm generalizing this, right? Like the major consumers of music or female musicians' artwork always fail to separate the artistic part and the actual person. So, say for example, you come out on a video and you're wearing a very, tight fitting or very sexy wardrobe, right? Uh, Already their mind is objectifying you, like they already have, okay, she wants it. I mean, she's looking for it or something like that, right?
Mhm,
It seems like they find it hard to separate. They will probably not do the same, and I mean this with the utmost respect that I can ever have. They would not do probably what they did to you to Ambuya Stella Chiweshe, even at his prime,
mhm.
or
At
or
her
Mai
prime.
Charamba, right? Or
Mhm,
Mai Charamba, you understand? And try to molest or something. So it's because there is this confusion
mhm,
that is in the mind that thinks, okay, because she presents herself in a certain manner,
mhm,
she's got to enjoy
mhm.
probably
Every
what I have in my mind. Exactly. How do you think this can be? Do you think we can ever see an end to this in our community? Do you think there's a way in which we can conscientize people to separate Ammara Brown from her creations and what she does on stage? These two
I
things are not linked.
I don't think it's an impossible feat because it's an international problem. For instance, specifically to Zimbabwe, the struggle is the sexuality.
Mm,
Okay? When we look at the whole world, for instance, it's actually that they struggle to realize that that's just a human being. And so the more it's difficult in a way where the different societies, let's say Western societies, for instance, okay, Western societies will normalize sexual activity, they'll normalize hypersexualize this, that, and the other. But the ramifications of what they have to deal with, if you will touch someone, are different. The law is hard on them. You can actually say he touched me and that's it. You're going to be penalized in this way. They've become more, adamant about you can't just do anything, because they also went through their own trip. The Me Too movement, etc. It's not a joke because it's a problem world over. In certain regards, in a sexual regard, it's an issue. Us as African people, do I ever think we're going to get past it? Absolutely. We just have to decide to do so. But I think it's so much better to be honest with the conversation than just to act like we're fine, or to act like I'll just dress differently and I'll sing gospel music and everything will be fine. No, 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 no. You can't do that. You can't do that because sex
yeah.
is a part of life. That's how you got here. Okay? You
Mm,
got here because two people had sex. So let's learn to respect it. Let's teach our children how to respect things holistically. Let's teach each other how to respect people holistically. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
understand, differentiate, like have enough sense. Even if I got Beyonce's number today, I would not message her. I would not call her. I would not give anyone that number. I would wait for the opportunity in this lifetime to meet her in person before she actually says, "You may have my number." Up until that day, I would not invade her privacy because I have enough experience and understanding of what that feels like when
Mm.
a random number just calls your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And my manager to have to deal with people wanking from all over the globe as they video call her. That is,
What? Wait, has that happened?
yes, yes,
Man, there are some
absolutely.
sick niggas out there, right?
Honestly, Gemma be changing her number. We be changing our phone numbers. We change our phone numbers because things get so chaotic and the ramifications. It's even like how people talk online, for instance, how people are abusive online, but there's no police on the internet. There's no one actually being like, your account is suspended because this is wrong, or you need therapy because
Mm.
there's something wrong with you. Nobody's, you know what I'm saying, having that
Mm.
conversation to that extent because we're still so overwhelmed with the immediate things that we have to deal with on a day to day. And if we just keep like letting things come at us, we're just gonna become, results of whatever happens. And I don't want to do that. I'm much happier to say, listen, guys, this is not okay. Listen, guys, you need to realize that I'm a human being, even if they don't treat me like a human being in this day and age, or in this generation. Perhaps they'll treat the next generation of women a little bit differently because they would have been aware of the things that we have to speak about it. We have to make sure that not just the strangers online are listening, but your brother, your actual brother, your fathers, your uncles, the men around you. It's like even the standards to which we hold each other up to, they need to be redefined. So for me, it's just a matter of choice.
Man, I just was taking all of that in, but also remember that when we spoke about the highs and the lows, we spoke about the lows and we never went to the highs.
About the eyes. Oh my God. I've got so many.
You got so
uh,
many things to
it's
talk
just
about. I
so
know,
hard.
right?
Don't know which particular moment. The highs are also just very like, they sort of mesh with each other in
Hmm.
a way where I'm just
Let
like,
me
I
try and
don't
refresh you. Let me try and refresh your mind. Is it maybe Coke Studio? Is it Old Mutual? Being an Old Mutual, Amazing Voices judge.
know.
Um, is it a particular award?
Do you
Is
know
it
what?
a particular meet with your favorite artist that you've always loved, or work with a particular artist? I'm trying to just get a high from
There's
there,
so
from anywhere.
many. There's so many. I think again, it's a feeling. I
Okay.
think it's a feeling. I don't think it's a particular moment. And I say this because if you pay attention to successful people, the goalposts of success change. So once I've achieved this, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. We
Hmm.
can do this, and then we can do that. And then,
Hmm.
so it's just that I don't want to say like an overachiever mentality because I don't believe I'm that extra, but I'm like, we can make that better. And, sometimes I think I've been so caught up when I'm doing whatever it is that thing is that's so amazing that I don't
Hmm.
actually realize how amazing it is until I look and take a moment. I've had to learn to do that. Like just, the other day I had to like update my bio. And I was like, yo, girl, this is a lot. Like we can't even fit it all. We're trying to like keep trying to
Well, what
cram.
was it? A Twitter bio?
No, like a bio. Like
Oh, okay, on your okay, your
like
profile or
bio.
your clap.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
because clients they will request that etc
Mm,
etc, and you have to keep it updated. But it's just like there's so much that I'm just like, wow, man, this has actually been pretty incredible. And I suppose the
mm,
best moments for me were actually not those super huge moments. They were the spaces in between where I just had a beautiful moment with a fan on stage
mm.
and we're smiling and we're laughing and my band is powerful behind me and we're dancing and we're just
Could it
we're just
could it
in it.
could it be the moment when you released Chichichema and there's a comment that you pinned on top where you say when where a guy listened to your song first, went and took his friend and woman, could it be that? And then he brought them to his house and played the song, and the guy was now crying, and they had to take him to therapy or something like that. That could
Like
sounds
I
like it.
I read that and I was like, that's what I mean when I say the spaces in between.
Yeah,
Because you
I
may
hear you.
think, when Teacher Chema hit a million views or whatever, but it's not that. It's that moment where you're like, and the other side, the dark side, the hopelessness,
Mm, yeah.
it's replaced, and outshined by this faith in people and faith in the thing that I do, that it matters more than the song, more than the award, more than the makeup, more than the clothes, more than the accolades. It's the experience that people are having, the experience that they are having within their lives. That's what I mean. It's the moments, it's those
Yeah.
things. And I
Yeah.
don't know how to put a, a one pin on it. Can't do
Okay.
it.
All right. Here's
Yeah.
something that I've been thinking. So my name is Joe, right? And I go by the name of Joe Mars. Okay, as you can see,
Okay.
my full name is Maramba. I'm sure you know that, but I've been using the Mars,
Mhm.
to make it sound cool and nice, and lovely.
Okay,
But
you know us. Mm.
yeah, something like that. So you have a Martians, right, as your fan base.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. For the longest, I thought they were called Martians. I don't know why. I was forgetting that there's an A there, a Martians. Okay, so I've been thinking as well of how to call the fans of this podcast. What to call the fans of this podcast, right? So there's a guy in South Africa, Mark G. He's got his podcast and chill, and he calls them the chillers. And I was yeah, because it's podcast and chill.
Uh,
So yeah, so I was thinking I would call the fans of this podcast, the subscribers, and the people that are going to fall in love with this podcast as well. Martians, from Mars, you've got Mars and you've got aliens from Mars, and they're called Martians. But I just don't want that to impede with the Martians because it almost sounds the same. Someone might actually think, oh, okay,
I
this is the
hear
same
you.
thing, you
I
know.
hear you. I hear you.
What?
Have some more thoughts on it. That's my advice. Because when I came up with the Masha, I remember I was taking a power walk. It was like, morning time. And I was like, hmm, Ammara.
They were like
Like
Ammara,
that. But I
Martians,
had to
yeah.
be sure, because, I had some thoughts about it because I didn't just want to just say anything because also Martians, that's a thing.
Yeah.
People get confused. I have seen people say Amaritans. I've seen people say, hey, Amaratians. Hey, it's extra. I'm like, ooh, Jesus is God. What's happening here? Um, but it's okay. It's all from a good place. Like it's just love. So
Oh.
have some. You crying?
Uh, no, man. Seriously, it sounds really, really funny. Like,
So good.
okay.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Just have some thoughts about it. Take your time. Don't feel pressured. Okay. Don't
No,
feel pressured.
man. Not at
Yeah.
all. Not at all. I actually just wanted to say, because it sounds so near to Martians, I just don't want to impede in that. So, but it's good. I'll take your advice for that. I'll think
Yeah.
about it I'll think about it a little bit longer, you know. How was it working with Mr. Easy on that sort of thing? Not sort of thing, but the sort of music. How was
Sure.
your experience with Mr. Easy? It's
Oh
your
man,
boy Easy.
it was bittersweet. Um, I remember
Do you
just
consider him your highest collaboration so far? I mean, you've done Praiser, you've done Mr. Put It, you've done a couple of other people, and Mr. Easy. Could that be like your biggest artist collaboration that you've ever had? It could be, right?
No, no. The biggest artist collaboration I've ever had, oof, is Mukoko.
Is Mukoko?
Yeah,
Mukoko, you had.
Titan.
Who'd you have on? Huh?
Titan.
Oh, Titan.
Hmm.
Is Titan bigger than Mr. Easy?
No, but the song was bigger than Shorter. So,
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Oh, that okay,
yeah,
yeah, I get
you
you.
mean,
Yeah,
was that most successful, globally successful artist I've ever collaborated with? Is
yeah,
that your question?
yeah. That was the
Okay.
question. Yeah, it was Mr. Easy. Mm,
Okay, okay. No,
okay.
fair. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
it ticks all the boxes, right? Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It just kept on going. Yes, yes, yes. There.
It was very bittersweet. He
Mm.
had the flu when we got into studio. It was so
Is
crazy
it?
because, yeah, I remember Easy reached out to me on Twitter and he was just like, I want to work with you. And he still had like 11,000 followers at the time. And I was like, oh, who's this guy? And and I was just like, okay, cool, and that's how I got to start listening to him, was simply just because he said, I want to work with you. So, before you respond, you got to know, like, how dope are you exactly? And I listened to his music, and, I remember us being in studio, and he was like, Amara, I'm not an artist like you. Me, I'm a play artist. You really be singing. And I had made ginger tea, I had honey and ginger, and just this lemon concoction because you needed to be a person. When your body's tired, you tour a
Yeah,
lot, and stuff, but your body
yeah.
breaks down in the middle of moments. So it was difficult in certain ways, but I do remember, even like the performance. Oh God, I could die when I think about our performance. It was so terrible. It was so bad. Um, I remember him just like suddenly at the 11th hour saying, I can't perform at your set. I need to do our song in my set. And I was like, oh, this is about to go left. Um,
Mm.
you know,
May
it was,
wait. What did you mean? Like you can't perform those your song on your
my
set?
set. Yeah, he
He
wanted
wants
it.
to do it on his set.
Yes, because he was after me in the concert.
Oh,
He
oh.
came right after me to close the show. And
Mm.
Winky had gone on just before me, so it was myself, and then it was Mr. Easy. So we thought we were going to finish our set with Shoto and his would begin. Unfortunately, that did not happen that way. Management had their backs and forths and whats and whats and what. The bottom line was his DJ didn't even have the song. So what landed up being used was what landed up being used was this backtrack that had the bass removed out of it. I know you're a musician. I think the
Ooh,
general public may
ooh.
not understand, but it was the track that was meant to be played with the band. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there were so many elements that needed to be fused for the live performance.
That we're missing, yeah.
And can you believe I'm starting the song and I'm hearing it sound like it's coming out of a tin radio, and I just died 1,000 bits. I'm like, what is this?
Man. And what did
I
you do? Did you say like raga
I
artists would be like pulo, you know? Did
There
you
was
pull
no
it up?
pool. I was tired. I was tired by that point. I had threw up. I was so nervous I threw up before I got on stage that night. And I had just had so much stress within that time period. I was just now exhausted. It was actually like it took extra minutes just to even hear somebody say, okay, we've got a track to perform with, let's go. It was perplexing to me. There were just so many things going wrong behind the scenes that I just could not even fathom stopping the show and being like, no, let's find the song, because that's what they were supposed to do. in the
Okay.
first place. We
Wait,
spent an extra.
where was this? Where was this? Was this in Zim, Nigeria?
This
It
was in
was in
Zim.
Zim. It was in
Um,
Zim. Okay.
gosh, I've never spoken about this so openly. This time does a nice thing. Um, but yeah, it was at Amasha Ignite, and we had
Oh.
collaborated with some local promoters, and just even how things were being marketed were just so distasteful because it's just like my brand has paid for this person to come in here, and just how it was handled was just so
Terrible.
disrespectful. And so I landed up sitting with Easy after the show. There was a table, a lot of noise, and blah blah blah. And I'm tired now. At this point, it's 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock, something like that, probably three. And I'm just like, we have to show up at the after party because that's the agreement we had with another promoter. Like this would be, the after party of the event. And
Mm.
so I asked for a table. I was just, can you guys just sit me on a table, like in peace, like somewhere over there? Because he's the foreigner. So they're going to have a lot of hype over here. I'm not
Mm.
about this right now. I would really like to take a moment and just be a person and thank the people, my band members and stuff, just be with my people in peace. And Easy escaped his own table
To come to you.
to come and sit and talk to me. And we had a
Yeah.
really good chat, And I think for me, just as a person, I just felt like we were able to talk about a number of things, an array of things, artist to artist, human to human. And I was really grateful for it. It was really cool. You know,
Man.
Certainly expected certain things to be done differently in so many different regards, but I learned a lot from
Mm.
that experience. I definitely learned a lot.
Is it?
Mhm.
Man, is your first love dancing? Like it's not. It's music. It's the vocals. Because you do put a lot of work in your dancing, right? Like you do dance a lot. Like and I actually think did you do ballet or something? Because you know what you
I wish
did.
I
You
wish
wish
I
you did. Is it?
I you know, I remember there was a point where we were working on, oh gosh, just my technique. I was working with John Cole at a time, and I said to him, I think I need lessons because I wanted to become just more articulate in
Mm.
how I danced. Because when I'm working on any particular project, what I loved about working with John Cole was that I would say, I want this part here to have a movement something like this or a feeling something like that. And no, that doesn't look right. It needs to, so some for me it's the language of dance. It's the language of dance. Like sometimes my body's not going to move in the way that I need it to move, but I need you to understand how I want the movement. And sometimes I want to actually express the movement in that way. So I wish I was trained, but I'm also glad that I wasn't, because when I dance, I'm dancing from, I know that I'm dancing with my soul. And even when you see the music videos,
Mm.
I've got a healthy hand in there. Let's just put it that way. I've got a healthy hand in there. I'm not doing like, nope, that's nope. Next, we're gonna do this. Make it better in this way. Yeah, great, nailed
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I want to see. But the
Yeah.
vocals for me, oh man, that's literally. Sometimes I feel bad because I'm just like, I don't want to sing very loud. People are gonna think I don't know what is happening in here, um, because I'm so loud.
Or
But
you're
I,
or you're or she's just trying to show off, or something like that.
I mean, I let go of it, particularly on a Sunday. When I speak gospel music, I'm like, let them hear. At least they'll know Puti is fine. All is well in the world, and I just feel like releasing right now because
Mm.
that's how I feel. Singing is when I feel my freest, and I think I've fallen back in love with it. Actually,
Is
really,
it?
yeah.
Man. Oh man. Ammara Brown. Ammara Brown. Ammara Brown. You have grown right in our face. I mean, you were born 6 years after me. You're born 1988, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I was slightly older when I was watching you on TV. I've probably seen. I was in love with your dad. I interviewed him a couple of times. You know, Magala, when I was doing
Oh,
when I was doing radio in Zim. How was like how's it like? Just give me a short one. How was it growing up with Andy? Like, what is what is the biggest thing probably you miss about him? Pregnant pause.
I miss just knowing I had a dad who loved me, and I just miss having a dad who I knew loved me. I knew that no matter what happened in the world, he would love me through everything and anything. I miss that.
Yeah, I still feel he loves you, whoever he might be, right?
I miss that.
Yeah, and I still feel, yeah, he really does love you. He might not be there, but
Yeah.
I feel like the feelings never go away. Maybe what they fail to do when people pass on to the other life is express it back to us. You know, we go and visit them where they lie and you know
Mm.
talk to them, but they cannot show those emotions back. But I feel in what you just say there, I feel like he still does, and you probably I don't know. Maybe
Absolutely.
he's yeah he's doing that spiritually in some way. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100% I know that my dad watches over me, and so does my mother. And
Mm,
I'm very sure even post them passing away, where I am
mm,
today would not be possible without them being my guardian angels.
mm,
I know that in my belief system, from my heart, that's how I feel. And that for me is irreplaceable, but
mm,
when I think about them being present in life, it's just like, I miss a lot of things, but more than anything, um, the grounding of having your parents still alive is really truly something I wish more
mm.
people understood. But that part,
Yeah.
although I was already like very mature at a young age, I was always an old soul. And the first time I felt my age, I was about 27. So,
Mm,
in becoming a mother at 23, I I remember my dad saying, "You're going to be a great mom," and I was so scared. I was so, I didn't know like what's going to happen to my life. Like I haven't even established myself yet, but in the same way, I feel like my son has given me that feeling of that unconditional love that my parents had. And I don't think anybody can ever match that. I'm truly, truly blessed to be a mom. That's for
wow.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did your mother ever sing? Was she a singer, or it's purely from your dad? Like, I mean, did because we know her as your mom.
Yeah.
Uh, never any. Did she ever either perform at the house with a vocally or in any other way? You know,
My mom,
because
okay,
it
what
almost feels like
a
Ammara Brown was born only by Andy Brown. Like the other
no.
half is.
The other half is the power woman. The other half is the provider. My mother was nothing short of amazing.
Mm,
Like, by no stretch of the imagination. I don't know how she did what she did for the 46 short years she had on earth. She was
mm.
full of love and full of light. And she believed in art. She believed in art. She was a realtor, actually. And
Oh,
yeah, exactly. So it
oh,
was just
cool.
like chalk and cheese in terms of the directions in which the two of them had as people. But when it came to the arts, that is the place where they agreed. My mom was with my dad when he was still, you know, Storm One, Ilanga, like early days, like, when he didn't
Oh, the
have much
golden years. The golden
of
years.
older years. You know what
The
I'm saying? She was
diamond
during
times. Yeah.
exactly. She really, really loved this man, and she saw him push through so much, and she supported him through years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? And so for her, I have to say my mother was the one who made sure that my goals were larger than just making music.
Yeah.
And she nurtured that. She nurtured that all the way, right to the very end. My mom nurtured that. And,
Mhm.
I think I was in heaven and I was like, these are the parents that I want, actually. I think these two will do. So I'm just going
Would do.
to slip right in and, oh, you're pregnant. I'm here.
Your imagination, Ammara Brown, is running wild as usual. Too wild this time.
No, that's my truth. I'm telling you my truth. It's not my imagination. I'm just saying. That's
Yeah,
how I feel. I think I
that's
picked
how.
them
Yeah.
spot on, and God was like, yeah. These are the ones that can give you the like, whoop, let's go. And I wouldn't change them for the world. I
I
wouldn't
know.
change them for the world.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
think
brought up a very, very vibrant, intelligent, funny, beautiful, and talented young woman. So
thank you. Thank you.
there's no way they are going to change you for anything else, and otherwise nothing like that is going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That makes you up.
Mm. All right. I must just say though, because I'm speaking to a Brown, and I know the relationship that you had with Chioniso Marai, and I met Chichi at one time in a mall, Eastgate Mall. I don't know, for the life of me, I can never remember. I can never forget that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
She was walking. She was about to get out of the mall. We were getting in with my friend, and I was like, "Oh, this is Chorizo, man." And I'm like, "Oh, Chorizo, I'm so much in love with you. I mean, I am a super fan, you know." And she said, "Oh, sweet. You know what?" And I had one of these, like, I don't know, I had one of these notebooks with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Please sign me your autograph." And she wrote something that I will never ever forget, and she drew a little heart in it after she drew a little heart, and then
Mm-hmm.
it actually said, "The sun shines from the inside," and then
Wow.
love, chi, and then she signed it off with a little heart there. Man, that was the proudest moment. I don't know where that thing went, but I probably kept it for about 2 or 3 years, showing everybody else that I met children from Marare, and this is what she said about me, and
Oh,
I can never forget it. That was so beautiful. But yeah, I thought I would just, for
I
a
love
moment.
that. That's a beautiful story.
That's very,
Oh,
very beautiful. I was young. All
yeah.
right, so you've had your birthday on the 6th of September. We're about to close this down now. You started, y- right, 6th of September. You turned 33. Congratulations. Congratulations. Is there a party? Did you have a party? Did you have a big shindig?
No, it wasn't big. My manager surprised me though. She
Hmm.
had a little one. We had a
She's a
little
little.
one, which is
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Mm.
Because I didn't want. I'm not a person who likes. If
Okay.
anything, I want. Can we have some wine and some dinner, and then
That's
can
it.
we dance after? Can we
Mm.
dance after with the people that I feel free around? And I think she did her best to create that sort of thing. XQ had popped in, but I didn't know. Um,
Mhm.
because I didn't know the party was happening. So she said, come like 5:36 ish, and there I walk in
Mm.
at like 7 o'clock. I'm just like, hey, because I'm thinking like it's just a small thing, and like, what's the big deal? It's dinner, right? You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, that's what happens. Uh,
Mm.
but it was so good. XQ had left me a bottle of something. She was just like, oh,
What
John
was
said
it? What's his taste? What's his taste like? What was it?
he got
Champagne?
me.
Bubble?
No, 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 no,
Cognac?
no, no. He got
Cognac?
me. He got me a bottle of tequila.
Oh.
And I was just like, okay, I'm not drinking that because I've been having wine in the morning. And I've been trying to release a song online,
Tequila,
and
tequila.
yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
can't right now. But maybe,
Okay.
at some point this year, I will, indulge in it so y'all can drink. I like, and I got my band members were there, and I just,
Mm,
that for me was just like, my people, my people. It was a beautiful reminder to me that, it's
yeah.
just in this life that you love and they love you back for the right
Yeah.
reason. Yeah,
Man. Yeah. So you've had that birthday. You've just finished season 2 of Amazing Voices as well.
yeah.
You're going into season 3?
I
What?
think I'll be going into season 3. I shot a music video with XQ a
Like
few
right now?
days ago.
Is
Yes,
this is this like a new song?
yes.
Okay. Please tell me more about it.
I'm sorry. It just hit me. I was like, oh snap, XQ. We're supposed to meet today because he called me and
Oh.
yo, so I got the edit. And I was like, oh snap, it's ready. And he's just like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So we were supposed to link up, and then just the day just got so chaotic for the both of us.
Mm, mm.
Um, but yeah, it's cool. I feel before the weekend, I'm gonna have to see this person and be like, bro, because yeah,
Man.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited about it.
I just wanted to say you turned 33,
Hmm.
finished season 2, Amazing Voices, new
Hmm.
song out, My Protector, right?
Hmm.
People are
Hmm.
listening to it on YouTube. It's available, digital platforms. Um, you cut your hair, okay? Uh, and you shot a new music video with XQ. It's gonna be out anytime soon.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of things have been going on for you, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. The last time you had an album was what? 2017?
Yes.
Does it even matter anymore? Like if you're being successful as you are, to be concentrating on an album, because we all know black people, we don't want to buy shit, we're busy just downloading and streaming and stuff like that. Do
Well,
you do
here's
you
the
even have that in your mind?
here's the thing. The majority of my money comes from outside of Zimbabwe,
Hmm.
and this is in terms of sales. Okay, this is in terms of streaming and all that kind of thing. Naturally, because the culture is a lot more profound outside here than it is,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but I think that the art of a good album was lost. I still appreciate a good album. I love a good album. I think people stop buying good albums because people stop making good albums.
Oh, you
The price,
oh I oh I
you
for a moment there I thought the art of making an album is was lost, meaning you lost that art. You
know,
mean the general consumers of the music have lost
appreciation for it because
appreciation? Yeah.
there was a period where so many albums were coming out, man, and it was just like, and this was like early 2000s. This
Mm,
didn't just happen like just now. No, this was like early 2000s, and I was like, this is junk. Like,
mm,
what is this? Eh, and then there were certain albums, certain artists who like you're gonna listen from start to finish. You knew you were gonna listen to Beyonce's album. You know you're gonna listen to Adele's album. You know you're gonna
mm,
listen to Kendrick Lamar's album. You know who you're gonna listen to from start to finish. And I'm
mm,
one of those people. You better gotta know. You can listen from start to finish, and you're gonna hear a journey. I am happier even now because it took me years to create the Amasha album, and it still didn't even come out as perfect as I wanted it to be when all was said and
mm.
done. But when I look at it now, I'm just like, that's a whole beautiful piece of work,
Yeah.
actually. And I was so proud of the success that it had. When I saw it number 2 on iTunes, I had a moment. I had a moment. That was probably one of the little moments where I was like, oh snap, this is
Oh,
an album. This is not just a single that's here at the top of the charts. So that for me is just like, it feels good to make a big beautiful piece a big, beautiful body of work, an opus. I want to have an opus one day. Everyone just be like, this is Ammara's works. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a hit song is fabulous. It's beautiful. That's great. Um, but a body of works is a journey. It's like you're getting different perspectives. People should be
Mm,
able, you know what I'm saying? Do
mm,
this, do that, and really just get all the facets of all the things that you can deliver. And I think that's part of why people get so bored with artists these days, because you're just like, I just want that one thing, and then
mm,
I'm
mm. And
and
probably in
so
and probably when they even eventually get to do an album, they'll probably have one or two songs in there that are interesting, and the rest you don't want to listen to them. So
and the
it
rest
could
is
have
just like,
been.
you know what I
Mm,
mean? And that's no good. They started cutting production budgets, whatever it is that they did. I don't believe in cutting corners. I'm just not that person. I'd rather take longer than
mm,
give you something that is just not worth the time you're going to invest, because you will never get that time back.
yeah.
You can
Do you
listen a
think
whole.
do you think Jabreza did it well with Guara? Have you listened to it?
No, no, I haven't listened to it. How is it?
Well, my honest opinion, out of
Okay,
10,
okay,
I think I'll give him a 9.
beautiful. Glad to hear that. So, if you were gonna say otherwise, I'm gonna be like, oh God.
No, to be quite honest, I wasn't like a huge Ja Preza fan. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when he
Mm-hmm.
started out, there are moments
Yeah,
when Ja hits me, and I'm like, wow, this guy is super talented, and I'm like, I want more of this. Like when he goes cultural, naturally cultural. I call it naturally cultural because he doesn't
mm-hmm.
have to make effort. He doesn't have to sound like he's doing a song with
Exactly.
right, like naturally he takes out his mirror and he sings his heart out. That for me are
Exactly.
those moments. And in that album, I just felt like he drew me closer to his art. Like I appreciated it even more.
Mm-hmm.
Much to the to the disagreement of many of my fellow.
Come out.
Huh?
When did this album come out?
Guara,
Mm-hmm.
are you for real?
No, I'm actually serious.
Okay, I have to.
I'm going right now. I want to see. I'm just like, which album is this?
Hmm.
This
Go to what do you use? Spotify?
one. Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Scene.
Mm.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
Okay.
Mm. Okay. All right.
If
Awesome.
I, if I
Great.
ever I have a proud moment in my life it's got to be this one where I have just alerted Ammara Brown on Ja Press's new album, and I'm probably going to keep it in my closer to my heart. Say, okay, in that particular moment, I happen to know something that Amara Brown doesn't know. You know what I mean?
uh,
Like, okay,
uh,
but you've
no,
been
look.
busy. I mean, I'll forgive you. You've been like
Honestly,
busy,
one of
100% busy.
one of the most important things any artist can do for themselves when they're
Hmm.
creating an album is to not listen to anyone. That's why I asked. I'm like, when did this come out? Because you find yourself sounding like somebody else when you're
Mm,
something of
mm,
like once upon
mm.
a time I stopped listening to Beyonce. I stopped.
Because you felt like you were going there.
I was like, I need to find my own voice. That was a very long time ago, and I started listening to Beyonce perhaps more consistently around the Lemonade time. But there was a period
Mm,
of time where, and even then, I can't sing word for word anymore. And it's important that I don't, because her voice becomes so prevalent in my mind that
mm,
is not healthy for what I need to create and what I need to deliver into the world. Not saying that Ja has a similar effect, but it can be kind of consuming, and his melodies
mm.
can be quite nice. And
Oh
I love
yes.
the bodies of work that Ja makes. I love the bodies of work that Ja makes because it's holistic. I feel like he's had a very balanced, beautiful journey in that way. And
Mm,
I appreciate that he's that kind of artist. Always will.
man. All right. Oh, what is next for Amara Brown just before we go and probably play a little bit of a game? Before you go, what is next? You've got the video and the song coming out with XQ. Um, is that your like? I'm getting ready to tell the world what I've got in store kind of look that you got going on there.
No, that's like,
Okay.
mm,
Mm,
told you I'd have to kill you.
no, man. No. How you kill me unless you send a missile to Johannesburg or something.
Do you know what? Well, Johannesburg is not that far, but um, look, for me, I find that when I speak about certain things publicly, long before they happen, we call it jaddu in Islam. It's like evil eye will affect the
Mm,
progress of that particular thing. So I've learned now to just not say anything. And then when it's about to happen, that's when it's too late for anybody to stop the wheels on this track. We're going. It's happening. It's
mm.
possible. And I
So,
like the element of surprise. I like people to not expect what to expect, because sometimes even when you say you're gonna do that, you say you're gonna do that. It's like, yeah, and she thinks she sold that. I'm just like, no, I'm just telling you that, you know, I want to do something awesome. So I'm gonna just leave
okay.
it, flow back, and when it's time for y'all to know, y'all will know. But
Okay.
yeah, I still feel very passionate, and I'm still super excited. I'm just recreating what my career means to me and what that looks like to you guys also. So good luck. I hope you enjoy this next part of the journey.
Okay. Is that response actually telling us that you are now practicing Islam?
Actually, I was raised a Muslim.
Oh,
My mother was Muslim.
okay.
My father converted to Islam in 1988.
Okay.
Um, he left Islam probably right after, in 1994, their marriage or whatever. And but even towards the end of his life, he was reading the Quran. And
Is it?
so, yeah, absolutely. So I come from a Muslim background. Amara is not my name by default. My mother's name was Soraya. My name is Amara. My late sister was Shala. My sister in the States is Kalia. My sister in the house is Zamira. She's 16. That was my mom's last baby. Um,
Mm,
all Muslim names, all beautiful names. And
mm,
I learned so much from Islam, even though I walked away from it a
mm,
few years back. I want to say 2 years back, um, because I needed to explore my spirituality as a whole. I grew up around a lot of Christian people, so I had a lot of conflicting ideals, and Christians make it hard, man. Hey,
mm, mm.
they make
I
it hard
know.
to appreciate Christianity. And then I had to get to a place where I was just like, I can't judge the whole religion by looking at the people, because the difference with Islam is just like people are doing just that. They're seeing, one terrorist, and then it's like all Muslims are terrorists, and then you're just like,
Mm.
that's an ignorant thing to do. Let me do better as well, because I've been exposed to Christianity. I know a bit about it.
Mm,
So let me explore that. Let me understand what are the common fundamentals in all these different sectors of spirituality, be it Buddhism, be it Hinduism, and the commonologies that all of them have are so incredible. And I'm still on that journey, and I'm still so humbled by it.
mm,
I love listening to gospel music, particularly Christian gospel music. It moves me in a way that is so profound and so different. And just understanding why that is, what it is, my journey with Jesus is one part. It's just, I've learned a lot from a lot.
yeah. Mm.
I
Okay.
love it.
I do appreciate a Muslim, the Muslim religion, so much. I think there's a connection there with Christianity on the Old Testament and thing vibe.
Of course,
Yeah. I
of
my daughter that I was telling you about was 10, which just turned 13. Her name is Sahara. Not from the
course.
Sahara that you know. No.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sahara was not even popular then, so a lot of people just know that I don't love things. I actually, gave her this name out
Right,
of the
right.
love for it. Okay, so yeah. Are you dating anyone, Amara?
I broke up with my partner on my birthday, so that would be a no.
This this birthday. This
This birthday,
birthday.
yes.
Why?
It was necessary. It was necessary.
Man, so what happened first? Was it the party or after the party?
It was just before the party, which is why I was late.
Oh, snap.
Oh man, it's okay. Um, you get to a place in life where you really just want to be happy. You want to be respected. You want to be trusted. You want to trust somebody, and you want to be trusted. And I value my peace of mind. I value my sanity, and I do believe in love. And I believe that there's so much more to love than people allow it to mean sometimes. Just because I don't want to be with you doesn't mean I don't love you. It actually means I love you so deeply, but I realize that there's a place where we can't get past, um, because we're not meant to be past that point. We've
Wait.
grown to the extent that we're meant to grow with each other, and then you know.
Okay. This is just too much. Listen, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I love
Hmm.
you, Amara. I love you, Ammara Brown. I love your music, man. But on your
Okay.
birthday, it's a no from me. On your birthday
Hmm.
is not the kind of news that we expect on your 33rd birthday. Who was wrong? Was it you? Is it you, Amara? What is it? Is it? I mean, when you look like at
Believe
yourself in the
me,
mirror.
believe me, the last thing I wanted to do was that on that day. Believe me when I say this. One day I think I'll have the courage to tell the full story. Um,
Pregnant pause. Okay,
it's
man,
like, oh God.
man, man. I had a question. I was like, where do you get the stuff that you write about? And when you go through stuff like this, like on your birthday, I'm sure a song would probably suffice after this. You could easily write a song about this, and it will still make sense. Like, you know, uh, I just don't wish that on anybody on any birthday. I it's
Your birthdays, for me at least, they're also like a new year. It's a
mm,
cleansing period. It's a new
mm,
chapter, and with maturity comes responsibility of self, and at all costs. It doesn't mean just because it's my birthday today, I'm not going to rectify this crazy shit that you're doing and saying right now. Like, I'm not about to deal with this. And actually, I don't want to do this anymore.
mm,
And I owe that to myself. I love myself enough to walk
mm.
away from this. And I love you enough to let you know this in as calmly as I can.
Yeah.
It wasn't as pretty as that. It didn't go as gracefully as that. But it was absolutely necessary, man. It was absolutely necessary.
What do you think about Rocky's newfound fame?
You're tired just with the little snippets of life I've been giving you, just a snippets.
Um,
Um, uh, Rocky's newfound fame.
like he's
He,
always been, Rocky has always been the lover of. If Zimbabwe had a boyfriend, because Zimbabwe is a her, right? It could be probably Rocky.
uh, no,
Because
don't say
Rocky
that.
is so loved, man. There's nothing like that Rocky does, whether it's in good light or bad light, that people will like, I'm canceling Rocky. I'm never gonna. look at that guy and they say, man, like Rocky is just a lovable character.
It was
And
the love that did
when I
cancel him.
say, yeah, when I say
He's
newfound fame, is because there was this like sort of movement away from the music, and then he came back, and then bam, he's again back to being the lovable character that we've always loved.
mhm.
Um, have you called him up to say, hey friend, or hey ex friend?
He called me the other day, um, and it was genuinely out of the woodworks. Like, oh dang, those. Anyway, I can't. He called me out of the woodwork,
Come
and
on now.
it's like it's just a lot. Um, and I was just like, oh God, what does he want? In my brain, I'm just like,
No, man, it's not like that, is it? Is it like
it was
that?
it was a long day, and I was so perplexed. I'm just like, what could he possibly want right now? Okay, let
Mm.
me woo because Rocky doesn't call me. So I'm wondering like, what is it? I was having a bad day, so I was just like, what's happening now? Why is
Yeah.
Rocky calling me? Hey, hello, Miss Brown. And I was like, hey, Rocky, how you doing? You know, and and I think part and parcel is that people could never understand, like, why did you date Rocky? Like, what on earth were you thinking? No, 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 no. There's
No, but
so
is he bad? Like, is he like, the Michael Jackson bad?
look, guys.
No, man.
We're at a decent place
Okay.
because we parted in a decent way. This is the woman that I am. I will not leave you in a ratchet fashion. That's just not how I do things. I'll leave you in a civilized fashion where we can still see each other in public and be people to each other, and that's just the way I like it. And I think Rocky has seen that I've maintained that along the years. I mean, a couple of years back, he met my partner, and ooh, that was awkward. You know, um, Rocky can be a bit extra. Um, that kind of thing. But I think when he's at his best self, I imagine at this particular point in his life, I'm hoping that what we're seeing is just him, just transforming into his best self. He's a genius, musically speaking. And I think he's one of the greatest talents this country has ever had. I think that his greatest
100%. I agree
act
there.
is himself, is mastering himself. I think um, And I think that's all I can comfortably say. I think Rocky's greatest challenge is mastering himself. And I think
Mm.
that if he managed to do that in a genuine fashion, oh, hallelujah. The conversation we had was very polite. He was very nice to me, very professional, you know, um, and that was lovely. That's the way that I'd like that to stay. And
Mm.
and when I see him coming out with music now again, and I'm just like, man, this is exactly what I wanted for you, man. Like, good on you, And I hope that it's a full scope transformation, not just an artistic one.
Okay.
I hope that for him. I always have.
All right. I think we've just had enough of, fun for one night. I
Yeah, it's
think
really
so.
2 hours worth of fun at this point. So you've nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, lots that we can talk about, Amara. I love creatives, like I said, and watching you grow into the woman that you have become, and all the things that you are accomplishing within your career. Andy and Suraya are smiling down on you right now, and they are super, super proud of you. Okay.
No, thank you.
Very proud of you. We cannot wait to see what you've got next in hidden, bubbling under. bubbling under. I assume with the new hairstyle, things are just gonna be like overflowing from Ammara Brown from now on.
Bless you. Bless you. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for coming through to my podcast. Thank you so
This has been
much.
incredible. Hey, like,
Mm.
thank you to you. This has been one of the most riveting interviews I've ever had. It's so late at night. I've had a long day, but I still felt very present and true in all of
Mm.
this. Thank you for that.
I didn't bore you, right? I did I
No, not at
didn't.
all.
Didn't.
Not
Oh
at all.
yeah. Thumbs up,
People,
Joe.
you know what I'm saying? If you didn't stop my
Mm.
monologues, we could have been here for another good hour.
Damn those monologues.
Damn them
Okay.
monologues, you know. So yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Loved
No,
it.
cool.
Thanks so
Thanks
much,
a lot.
Joe.
All right. You are listening to the Joe Mars Podcast, a podcast inspired by musical creatives from and within Zimbabwe, Africa, and the world who are making an impact and pursuing their passions. My name is Joseph Maramba, and I'm a radio host best known for shows on Capital FM, Power FM, and Sport FM radio. And I'm sitting down with creatives to learn more on their story and how they are making an impact with every single production.